Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Saturday and a special edition. So, I know a lot of you are done with Sanctum, and a lot of you are done with your Infinite Climb. Well, we're going to do 5 decks to help those of you who are still looking to reach Infinite, the by the stats best 5 decks at Infinite, and those of you who are still grinding Sanctum, hopefully trying to get those last couple of Series 4 and 5 cards that you don't own. We've got the top 5 decks for Sanctum too. That's what we're going to do today. In addition, we're also going to have our giveaway winners. We're not going to do full turn by turns here. We're just going to do a quick strategy guide for these decks, and we're still going to cover card replacements. We're going to kick it off with Sanctum, so if that's who you are and what you're interested in, check out the first half. If not, feel free to skip to the second half and check out the top 5 decks to hit Infinite with so far this season. But first, I'm going to ask you to pretty please hit that sub button if you're willing as you try to hit 25,000 subs in 2025. We need your support. The bottom right, that little red button is the sub button. If you hit it, you don't even have to leave the video. It helps us out in a huge way. If you hit that sub, it shows YouTube to show us to more people that there's value in this content, and we bring you 7 days a week of Marvel Snap content. This week, we will have 9 videos. This is video number 8 already. There will be a second video later today, a podcast. We cover at least 3 decks every single day. We covered the top 11 decks in Marvel Snap yesterday with like 5 honorable mentions. We give you the most thorough Snap coverage, and if you want to always be up to date in Marvel Snap, this is the channel for you. In addition, we are giving away a season pass. We have giveaway winners at the end of this video. I know that's Sam Wilson, ignore it. We have giveaway winners at the end of this video. We are giving away Agamotto. All you have to do is sub, like, and then later this video, I will tell you what to comment. One person who comments, everyone who comments will be entered to win a giveaway. One person will win a Sam Wilson. The most effective deck in Sanctum is still the Guardians deck. I know that's not a major surprise. I just wanted to show you the best version of the build. I really, really like this build in particular. Werewolf by Night is incredible with Guardians because the Guardians, even if they don't trigger, are going to pull Werewolf over. That's a lot of power being pulled to that lane freaking all the time. Stegron works really well with Werewolf in that it takes power out and then Werewolf drops power in. We also obviously have Nebula. The Nebula will grow. They have a choice to either let Nebula grow or play off the Sanctum lane early in the game, which is very, very powerful. Then, of course, we have Vision with his moving late game power, Miles Morales just as cheap power, and Shang to stop when opponents get too big. This deck really, really does sing together. Every bit of it works together. This is very powerful stuff. It is between 75 and 78% win rate in 40 plus games for several different versions. There's like 2 or 3 cards off here and there. Feel free to mess with it, but it's all in the 75% win rate in some low samples, but it's enough different versions that are all in this win rate that I'm comfortable saying that this is the best deck. There's lots of similar stuff to this that you should use. So, Werewolf by Night is incredible in this mode. It is moving power. We learned the power of that with Rocket and Groot, and Scream is banned. The only thing holding Werewolf back on ladder, I'm convinced, especially with Agamotto coming out, is that uh, Scream still exists. If you're not seeing a lot of Scream, Werewolf by Night is a ton of power. Being able to move him with the Guardians, being able to move him with Stegron means that you always have like an extra 7 to 9 power in a lane. That extra 7 to 9 power is game winning. Werewolf did go to Series 4. I don't directly suggest you buy him for this, but we're getting close. Like, he's a Scream nerf from being really, really valid in this meta. Agamotto, by the way, is incredible with Werewolf by Night. The spells that Agamotto uses will resolve, then move Werewolf to that lane. So even if the lane looks to be full, you can move an enemy card out of there, giving it -5, and then Werewolf will still jump to that lane. That kind of thing is insanely powerful. You can turn a lane into a bunch of. I stole a game earlier, turning a lane into a bunch of Agamottos, and then Werewolf jumped there as like a 17 power card, so I had like 47 power in that lane, and then I could still move Werewolf to have that power the next lane. Werewolf and Agamotto are wonderful together. It's worth considering that combination. Werewolf and Rocket and Groot are again not necessary. Gladiator, Drax, Cull, all of those are worse. That's why they're replacements, but it's fine. Sam Wilson can be Craven or Lizard. Craven's actually really, really solid here because Werewolf bouncing around means it hits Craven reasonably often, and the Agamotto spells keep you having plenty of space on Craven. Lizard is just reasonably big early in the game right now. Next up, we have the Fudge Sanctum Zoo. I played this for 45 games and I have a 70% win rate, not counting my phone where I feel like I went undefeated, but who the hell knows for sure. I might have lost one or two, but I played 10, 15 more games on my phone and I lost maybe one or two more because I had to get on my computer to lose scrolls. I was like not losing scrolls. This is my most successful deck in the mode right now. I think that this list is absolutely incredible. It combines Guardians and Zoo. It's running uh, Rocket and Groot, Star Lord, and sorry, Rocket, Groot, and Star-Lord. You got to be careful when you say Rocket and Groot now, along with just the Zoo package, and thus it's able to go over the top. The Guardians let it compete early, let it build up extra power late to go over the top. It's got scaling because it can put power into closed off lanes thanks to the Blue Marvel Gilgamesh, and then if you get the oh no, I have Marvel Boy in this. Where the hell is Marvel Boy? I guess I don't have Groot. I have Marvel Boy. Excuse me. The Marvel Boy in this instead of Groot. My mistake. Excuse me. Marvel Boy gives you scaling in lanes no matter what, and it is absolutely incredible. So again, 70% win rate in 45 games, technically 70.5 win rate in 45 games. This has been insane for me. I do believe this deck does need Marvel Boy. Marvel Boy is lose turn 3 to win a lot more later lanes. Again, he just plays for an absolute ton of power all over the board, and he gives you this sort of spread, the ability with Squirrel Girl and Shauna for those to actually be threats. He's cheap enough that if you play him early, it just passively happens. You get a ton of extra power from him. Mockingbird being like a cheap 9, often a 3/9 or less, is insane and wins you important lanes in the games where you're able to rush the opponent. Gilgamesh, late game is just about the biggest thing. He's like a 520 in this list. The closest thing you're gonna get is Gamora. That's worse, but fine. Sam and Kate can be Iron Patriot, Dazzler. You can also try Roots in that spot. Maybe Rock and Groot too, but I'd prefer Groot. All right, next up we have Skaar. Skaar Sanctum is the last place that Skaar is still working as advertised until at least for another day or two until Starbrand comes out, but then Sanctum will be gone. So when Starbrand comes out, we'll revisit this deck in ladder, but for now, this deck still works perfectly frickin' fine right here in this mode. You would very much like to get a Zabu out for this list to really, really sing, but like Surtur is so strong as a scaler in this, it's incredible. You saw hopefully that there's a lot of Guardians everywhere. Cosmo turns off Guardians completely, making that an easy matchup. And then you just go bigger than opponents that are sort of playing cards that grow because Ares is up 412. Atuma takes care of junk and makes sure that you could always play powerful things in a lane. Crossbones, you should be able to get ahead. And then Gamora is your extra big card because 512 is more than big enough. Yes, it's not Arrow, but it's in this particular mode better than Arrow. Brilliant idea to whoever the hell came up with it. I love it. There's only one change I would consider, and I didn't even write it on the slide because it occurred to me later. This is a 65% win rate in 80 games, which is huge. This deck needs Sam, Cull, Skaar, and Surtur. Ares can be Typhoid, and then I would make Iron Patriot be Luke if I didn't have Ares. But I think the actual change for Iron Patriot is Psylocke as an extra way to jump from 2 to 4 because you're running basically all the 4s. So if you have Ares and not Iron Patriot, I would make that be Psylocke. I would also strongly consider making that Psylocke no matter what. Lizard and Star-Lord are, of course, other decent replacements in that spot. We have Armor and Cosmo so that opponents' control cards don't get to us. This list sort of does everything. This is basically perfect for this mode. It's just like play the biggest power is the name of the mode, and this deck does that without any like fanciness. All right, this one is a bit of a flyer because we're not gonna have time to properly test this because enough of the top players are done with the mode. But I accidentally took this into Sanctum, and then I won, ripped off a bunch of wins, and it felt absolutely incredible. And I'm going to tell you what, Wiccan is incredible when it works, but you don't actually need the Wiccan stuff here. This is all about Agamotto and Werewolf and just being able to play smart. Agamotto and Werewolf are an absolutely incredible combo in this mode, and they're able to win you games. Fastos is also severely underrated when you don't get that when you don't get that werewolf. Fastos is able to win you games. You can fairly often early play in Agamotto, do stuff like that. You're very good at winning your Iron Patriot lane. Luna is fairly big at winning that lane in particular. We've got Kate to like junk them up, the only legal junk. And like for whatever reason, I feel like I'm getting Warlock more in this mode than other modes, so it's working really well. And then Shang is just a lane winner stealer. So like Shang with Werewolf is really great because you Shang, you clear out their side, and then you jump your big thing in there, and it almost always wins. The creator of this list, I play this on ladder with a really high win rate too, is Not My Dance. You can find on twitch.tv/notmydance. This is the highest win rate werewolf list around right now, just for the record, or at least it was last I checked. This deck needs werewolf, King Itri, Kate, and Agamotto, so hopefully you got those cards. Those are 2 season pass cards, a series 4 card, and a card that you could have gotten for free from, I believe, Sanctum. Zabu should be Quinjet. If you don't have Fastos, you can go Zabu. Quinjet is straight up better than Zabu. In the version I'm playing, I'm running Quinjet over Zabu because Iron Patriot is in the list and because it makes the Agamotto spells cheaper. So this doesn't need Wiccan, Luna, or Nico. Those are just extra nice cards. Replaced with Rocket, Star-Lord, and Groot. Feel free to just run Guardians in that spot. Hey, I should be streaming tonight at twitch.tv/pulseglazer, and either way, I'm streaming basically all day tomorrow. I should be streaming from like 1 p.m. Eastern to like 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. If you're interested in checking that out, at twitch.tv/pulseglazer, come by, stop by, say hello. All right, season pass question. This is how you enter to win the Agamotto. How many new cards did you get in Sanctum? If you weren't series complete, did you get any cosmetics? If you if yes, I'm curious. If you're complete and got cosmetics, great. You could tell me, but like I'm not as interested. Cool. I'm more curious about people who chose cosmetics over new cards. We're going to talk about giveaway winners at the ends, and now it is time for top decks for Infinite. Everybody ready? We're moving on from Sanctum, and now we're on the top decks from 90 to 100 because that's where the grind gets real. So first we have the Coccia Bullseye. This is fundamentally the classic original Coccia Bullseye. This one is still crushing from 90 to 100 as there's an awful lot of non-interactive decks. We're not seeing a lot of like Red Guardian in that range. We're not seeing a lot of things that would junk this up like Mobius in that range. And so this list is absolutely sinking. If you don't interact with this list, it puts up as much points as anything as long as it draws reasonably well. And so since people aren't interacting with this deck, it is able to go completely nuts. The creator of this list is Alexander Coccia. You can find on Twitch or YouTube at that exact name. This currently has a 77% win rate in 60 games. You'll notice that samples from 90 to 100 are a little low, because it is relatively early in the season. This deck needs Dakin, Bullseye, and Frigga. If you have those 3, you are good to go. Meek and Scorn are extra stuff. Grandmaster Moon Knight. I saw someone running a Wasp, which was pretty cool. Let's talk about the basic strategy for this list. So early on, you would like to get out Meek, and then you want to get out like Morbius, and then Bullseye or Dakin, and you want to Frigga one of those if possible. If you Frigga one of those and you're going to play 2 of them, that changes your strategy. So your goal is to basically play. Ready? You can go double Bullseye if you can manage a Discord Swarm. Double Bullseye if you can manage a Discord Swarm, but you're gonna need the Morbius one of Morbius Meat Collector out. Sorry, 2 of Morbius Meat Collector out, and then you should be able to win. You can also if you double Dakin, you can play Dakin, Frigga, Bullseye, Dakin, trigger Bullseye, and then you have 2 16 power Dawkins, and you should be able to win that if you've got like a Morbius and other plans, and Bullseye's able to discard enough stuff. So, or you can manage to like throw a Swarm discard in there, and that now you're really, really going off, and you should be able to win those games. But the main goal you have here is you just sort of play your scalers as you can, right? You need to discard Swarm once before the last turn of the game. You need to get Bullseye out before turn 5, and then you play MODOK, and then you trigger Bullseye. As you play MODOK and trigger Bullseye, all your stuff shoots up to ungodly power, and then you've won the game. That's it. It's really simple, right? If you get Morbius, Meek, Collector out, 2 of them out, right? You play Meek on 1, Morbius on 2, Bullseye on 3, Dakin on 4, who cares on 5. You're discarding Swarm on 5, and then you play MODOK and trigger Bullseye. That will almost always win the game, and that is your main goal. Next up, we have the top Arishem from 90 to 99. This one is absolutely crushing right now. It is a list that I'm going to play on stream, even though I'm a little sad to. Arishem right now is auto-generated cards are creating Dan Hips, and that is beyond exciting, which is like both a little disappointing because this deck only has Legion, Eliath, and I think that's it. Yeah, Legion, Elias, and Mobius as hips. So the rest of them are not hips, right? So like I can't run hip variants, but Arishem's going to auto create any hip variant in the game, and that is so exciting. So I'm gonna well, yesterday as of you watching this. I'm gonna play this on stream because hell yeah, I want to generate a bunch of Dan Hips because there's a new Dan Hip Arishem, and now cards that generate are auto-generating the variants of their type, and I'm so excited for this. It's like my favorite change in months and months and months in Marvel Snap. I cannot explain to you how happy it makes me. All right, so this one is just powerful Arishem stuff, right? This is an Isan list, which is really cool. I'm happy to see Isan be performing in a top list that doesn't run Agamotto. And here we go. This one has a 67% win rate in a reasonable 86 games. You do need Arishem and Eliath. I think you do need Eliath. We'll get to why. I mean, look, I'll just say it. Hela and Negative are around, and Eliath wins you those matches. Arishem is obviously huge. If you don't have the Doom 2099, you make that be Enchantress or Ares, and then you run Magneto in the 6-drop spot. Mockingbird can be She-Hulk. Isan can be the big 6, Magneto, Rolk, or Gore. You can also consider running Nick Fury in any of the missing 6 slots to try and just generate a damn 6 if you want on turn 3. Galactic can be Gwenpool. That's the only really good replacement there, though. You do want something that's going to spike your hand's power, especially with Isan. If you don't have Mobius, you run Luke, so you have a stronger Affliction matchup. Iron Patriot can be Valentina or Cable. I'm not sure if Iron Patriot or Valentina are better in this list. I usually run both, but I do think I want Quinjet now. Legion can be Vision or Claw. And let's talk basic strategy. So you have Arishem obviously has a million basic strategies, right? One is just turn 3, drop Doom 2099, try and drop Doctor Doom at the end of the game and win. Another major strategy is just play the biggest stuff you can and then end the game with Eliath and stopping your opponent from interacting with your big stuff. You can also scam wins with Legion. There are numerous locations that Legion fundamentally auto wins, most notably the Kiln. Please snap before you use any Legion, any of those, and make sure you're obviously ahead and going to win in those cases. Another way to win at the end is an extraordinarily cheap Mockingbird. Mockingbird, who is often free in this list, gets dropped with another powerful card, and that's just too much power. These lists used to run Blob, but Blob adds an extra vulnerability to Shadow King. Isan is powerful enough to replace Blob in these lists and give you a lot of extra optionality. It also works reasonably well with Iron Patriot, which is a card that can get stuck in your hand if you decide to go a different way. Mobius and Shang-Chi give you tech choices, while you have fundamentally just enough power to overpower anything if the cards go in your favor. And it's Arishem, so sometimes they won't, but still, this list is really, really strong right now. Next up, we have Ika Spaced Out. We actually did a full deck guide to this in yesterday's video, so pretty please make sure you check that out if you're interested in an absolute full breakdown. This one, a player named Bot finished in the top 5 with last season, and at that point, Cam Best noticed it and had a huge, huge run with it. Ika created this at the very beginning, like February 2nd of the previous season, and then like it took a while for it to catch on, but now it is a meta list. It is 66% win rate in 110 games. You do need all the high series card stuff here, but hey, it used to run speed over Lizard, so like, oh, it's still doing really, really well. Let's talk the basic strategy. So Ravonna gives you an entire basic strategy if you can get Moonstone on it. That's really only working for Mystique, Iron Man, and uh, Mr. Fantastic. That's totally fine, especially if you're able to get out an Anti-Venom, because now you just have a ton of ridiculously cheap stuff to play that's going to have a ton of power. So if you can get Ravonna out, and then you can play Moonstone on it, your Mystique and Mr. Fantastic are 1, your Iron Man is 3. You can just do so much with that. If you're at that point, please make sure you're copying Iron Man with Mystique under Moonstone so that Moonstone will also be an Iron Man. Mr. Fantastic's 3 power now suddenly goes through the roof and skyrockets up in value. That's your my favorite strategy with this, but this can play a reasonably fair list by just playing Sam Wilson and then moving and scaling him up and playing Lizard, and then Luke Cage keeps that, and then Captain America will scale up your Iron Man, and Anti-Venom will let you cheat an extra card that will keep its power, and Spectrum buffs it all. That's like the fair gameplay. The fair gameplay doesn't always win, but like there's a lot of mid-range in the meta, and the fair gameplay is very good at like keeping up with that, and you have to just keep in mind how much like power you have. Do the math, and you should be relatively good at winning with that matchup. That you also have the high roll, obviously, of Ravonna and Moonstone, and that high roll is how you really, really go over the top. That high roll is fundamentally where we want to be for beating like Hela decks and so on. So this list has a lot of gameplay into a lot of things, so I'm not surprised to see it do so well. Oh no, did I delete the thing? I deleted the replacements for this one. Oh no, that was the replacements. I'm just losing my damn mind. Sorry. All right, next up we have Captain Latveria. We've seen this list a million times. This was our pre-release Doom 2099 list. It was actually our pre-release Doom 2099 list. When Spectrum was buffed, we created basically this list. All the only thing that's changed in it since is the tech cards. So this is Mobius and Super Skull right now are the tech cards that are doing really well. Mr. Negative has a fairly big presence in the 90s, hence the Mobius and Super Skrull. Plus, that previous list we looked at is sort of owned by Super Skrull. This list still does super well at 60% win rate in 250 games, created by me. This deck needs both Sam Wilson and Doom 2099. Mobius can be Luke Cage as a way to protect you from Affliction if that's what you're running into. Iron Lad can be Jubilee. This will always be the easiest deck in the game to play. Turn 1, you play Ant-Man. Turn 2, you play Sailor. Turn 3, you play Doom 2099 or Iron Lad. If you hit Doom 2099, you are probably going to end up snapping, right? There you go. You play after you play Doom 2099, you play one card each turn. So on turn 4, if you play Doom 2099, you can play Super Skrull, Iron Lad, Mobius, Captain America, or Captain America. Turn 5, you can play Blue Marvel or one of the cheaper things. And turn 6, you choose between Doctor Doom and Spectrum, and then you win. That's it. Some people can go over the top of it. This has lost popularity because it usually loses to Hela. It's not a great matchup for Hela. It's not a great matchup for Negative, right? Those decks just beat it. But this is a mid-range killer. It just feasts on mid-range by, like, honestly, having a lot of 50-50s that it just ends up coming out over the top of because you just get an extra Doombot, right? Like, and people don't do the math right. Uh, yeah. Cool. We did that. Sorry. It's so weird not doing the turn by turn and doing it here. All right, the last and winningest list. I'm really sorry for everyone who yells at me in the comments to stop talking about this list. I didn't choose to make this list so good. This is the best list in Marvel Snap right now, as far as like if you just want to win. This is the highest win rate and the highest win rate in good sample. That's it. Play this list. It's Hela. You I created this list at the same time as Ika, Perimanolo, and KM Best, so like don't give me credit, but hey, we all created it at the same time. This one sort of built itself. I fully expect this to be nerfed, but if you're trying to hit Infinite now, next Thursday doesn't matter, only now does. This exact version has a 71% win rate in 56 games, but there's a 65% win rate in 530 games for Adam Warlock with Thunderbolt Ross. The 90s are infested with this deck. Have a plan for it. This deck needs Blink and Skaar. Ross can be Adam Warlock or Iron Man. I've seen people who don't have Blink run Iron Man. That version is worse, but still fine. Um, yeah, let's talk basic strategy. So you really want to discard Infinite, right? Like your main goal is to discard Infinite and play Hela. You have a lot of ways to play Hela. You should never ever, unless the -1 cost location pops up, um, whether it be -1 for sixes or -1 for Elysium for everyone, that will mess up your Swordmaster fairly good. But everything else, you should be totally freaking fine. As far as just almost never discarding Hela unless you have extreme bad luck, which is incredibly strong. So you want to try and save Blade for Infinite unless Infinite's in your initial hand, and if Infinite is in your initial hand, you're going to use Blade for Skaar or Death. Black Cat will discard herself, which is incredibly powerful. That's the real reason Thunderbolt Ross is here. I know that like there's some question of whether he's better than Warlock. Because he will get Black Cat and then she will immediately discard herself is incredibly powerful. That'll work at the end of turn 5 as well, which gives you that extra 10 for Hela. Let's say you just get Black Cat and Infinite with Hela. That is a 39 power last turn, which usually wins, right? What really makes this so strong, though, is you have so much extra power along the way. So Blade is really big for a 1. That's a 1/3. Thaddeus is small, right? But Lady Sif is average size for a 3, slightly above average, while Swordmaster is huge. Hellcow is good sized for a 4. Jubilee goes to get you something frickin' really big. Blink is fine for a 5. And then your 6s and 7 and 8 are all humongous. They're all among the biggest stats in the game. So, like, you just have stats on your way to not discarding Hela and making sure that damn thing happens. Some small tricks are Hellcow on 4 or 5. You can trigger that, then blink to try and find Hela. If you're going to play Hela after a Hellcow, make sure you trigger Hellcow, then drop Hela. Yes, you can do them both on the same turn with no risk to Hela. Um, I remember to use Lady Sif before Swordmaster almost always because Swordmaster can just discard Lady Sif, while Lady Sif will always go get the biggest thing. There are times and there are places where you can only win by taking a 50-50 with Lady Sif of Hela and Infinite. Take that 50-50, and if you hit Infinite, snap. If you hit Hela, run. That's how Marvel Snap works. Be careful with Jubilee. Anytime you're going to play Jubilee, take a good long look at the board. Go A, can I blink next? B, am I risking hitting Hela before I want to? C, if I hit Blade or Sif, am I immediately discarding Hela and losing? And then look at how many cards in the deck are there and do some basic math. Sometimes you're going to lose that gamble. That's fine. You run for one. Cool. Your opponent should snap you immediately. Run. That's how you play the list. There is some skill to it. It's not like idiot proof, but it is very, very simple to play as far as these things go. It's the best deck, y'all. Sorry. If you'd like to see gameplay from these decks, please check out the stream team. Tomorrow, the great Behaved at 1 p.m. Eastern will be playing. I'll also be on, but probably not playing these lists. I'm Infinite and not playing Sanctum anymore. So if you want to check it out, go check out Obi tomorrow. If you're checking this early, check out Fathor Newman right now, probably streaming at 10 a.m.-ish Eastern. Our season pass winners for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday will do Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on Monday's video are JTrain 9926, OAE 66, and The Filipino User. You can reach out to me with the stuff on the screen. I'm not going to make everyone sit through me reading that. The Wednesday, Thursday, Friday videos, winners will once more be Monday, which means that if you haven't watched and commented the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday videos, you can still watch them and comment them in order to enter to win a season pass. Patreon.com/snapjudgments is one of the best ways to support the channel. If you're willing, certain support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. Thank you to our patron of the month, Absolute Shannon. Thank you to the great Abigail Kiesland, mandatory burnout, regardless, always kind, LAB, Inc., Graphite Fan. I am Frostman. Hota Navarrete, Thinking Poker of the Think Poker podcast. Prime Ryan, what's up, Ryan? Ryan Burke, what's up, Ryan? Ryan Wood, what's up, Ryan? Kirtix Lee, Corey Ray, who's rude? Kazushi, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Pyrofrost, I don't know why I said Black Dahlia twice. The Goat Seeker, Hollowed, Night, I don't know why I say, I think I actually do know why I say Hollowed that way. Hollowed, do you know why I say Hollowed that way? Nightmare, Only Fox, Synth, Dirty, Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, sup Kerfuff, Cables, Home, Chillin', Ginger Prime, sup Ginge, Philip Rakovich, Racko, Hap Low, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Bizza, Black Jeebus 23, Extra C, and Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, Sloosh Death, The Kinger Bros, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kevsey Huda, Lunar Chris, Clam, Colonel Vorbin, Rob Silverman, M. Holland, David G. Wingfield, should be David H. Wingfield, Brian Kaufman. Oh, did I say Steven? Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Craig, Jason B. I forgot how to talk. Mr. Craig Sterry, Matt V. Ren Wrench. Ren Wrench, do you like Ren, the band? Corwin Chunk and Jimmy McHugh, you down. Gist out. Eighth Sage, one big band. Milkman for Breeze. Cactus. BG, Quid Pro Joe. What's up, Joe? Snap Decisions Joe. Mod, Supreme Models. Green Goblin, my favorite Osborne. Uni. What's up, Unibot? Flan 56, the Fuzzy Lump, Spectrum Mix, Hoot, My throat is giving out. Ocularis. Matt H. DJ Mikey Hijinks, no frickin' flex. Nick the Greek Geek. I need to sip my coffee. I literally cannot talk. Zadrex, the King of Canada. Den, Man, Falcon, Fathor, Newman, Jonesy. Two ties, Lauren Devs, the Parking Tucker, and of course Gunny T. That coffee saved me. Hit that sub button for me to keep doing this as much as possible and help us grow. Thanks very much. I'll see you in Snap Take tomorrow. Peace.